Well, hey there, everybody. Here is one of the first YouTube talking videos for me for the year of 2026. And I hope that you had a good and fun New Year celebration. And yeah, let's make this year a really good year where we can strive to continue with good behavior and we can do our very best. And this topic came to me recently while I was driving my car on 163 back to Lakeside, and I was thinking to myself about an analogy of how we can do our very best. I thought of an analogy, and I think back to mostly when I was in school, and then a couple of times where I had to do the same thing after school. And this is on the subject of taking tests. Oh boy, taking tests. Maybe some people enjoy that and maybe some people don't. But when it comes to all the tests and quizzes that we have to take, a lot of people want to pass every test and quiz that they are given in every subject. And yeah, a lot of people would prefer to get an A because, the more A's that we get, the more that helps us with getting a good grade for, our final grade in a class. And I know that I definitely wanted to get good grades. And I would say that during my time in elementary school, middle school, high school, and in college, I did pretty well. There were A's and B's, and a few times in some really difficult subjects, there were a few C's. But then when I get to college, I know that I was beginning to improve my study habits. And I can honestly tell you that throughout all the years that I was in college, with every class that I completed, so I could get that diploma, it was all A's and B's. That's what it was for me in college. And I was striving to do my very best because I wanted good grades. I did not want to go through academic probation. I did not want to fail so miserably where it would look really bad on my transcript. And I did not want to get into the mindset of, oh, I'm doing so badly, I'm just going to give up altogether and drop out of college. And yeah, there were a few tough classes on a few subjects that I will most likely never use, like binary numbers, which was in a computer math class on the history of computers. But still, I persevered and I got A's and B's. I was giving it my very best, and I made it through college. And I am very happy about that, along with the fact that I studied hard enough, and when I was 16 years old, I was able to pass the multiple choice test for my driver's license. I was very happy about that. And in a few other instances, like, there have been a few orientations where I am getting rehired for Lakeside. We had to take a multiple choice test on the history of Lakeside and what to do in certain situations. And long ago, when I did help out with the very long day of being an election poll worker, I know I had to take a multiple choice test for helping out with that. And yeah, it all worked out. I was striving to do my very best, and I was able to pass the tests and quizzes, and I was able to get a passing grade. And I hope that for all of us who are striving to do our very best in school and with every test that we have, I hope as well that we can also strive to do our very best with our behavior, because God does encourage us to do our very best. God does not want us to be lukewarm and uncaring with our behavior, but rather God wants us to really give it our best, where we can be strong and really have that power to resist temptation and resist the sinful ideas and sinful behaviors, to resist it. And God wants us to do our very best with truly living for Him. And I know that nobody's perfect. We have all made mistakes, but we can all learn from the past, and we can strive to do better. And I know that's what I have done in my life. I know that I have made mistakes with certain jokes that I used to make when I was a kid and when I did not care about respecting God's name, where I would say, "Oh my God." But then I grew in my faith, and I did away with the jokes that were bad, and I started to say, "Oh my gosh," or "Oh my goodness." And I started to read the Bible more, and I realized, okay, well, this certain thing is a sin, and this is what I should be doing. You know, stay away from this and focus on the good behavior that I'm reading about. You know, it's all there in the Bible. What is a sin and what is good behavior. And yeah, I know that I have been striving to do my very best, especially since I was baptized in 2008. And when I got back on track a year later, after a very challenging year in 2009 when my father passed away, and I did very, very well in high school. And I did very well in college and in all the years after college. And I want to keep it up. I definitely want to keep it up. I do not want to throw this away, but I want to continue to be a true and real example of someone who is striving to do their very best with the decisions that honor God. I want to keep it up, and I hope that you have enjoyed this analogy. And yeah, let's make this a great year in 2026 with every place that we go. Let us strive to do our very best with our behavior so it can honor God. I just wanted to share this today, and I hope that you have enjoyed this. And as always, stay tuned for another video here on my YouTube channel. Thank you.